Hello and welcome back to Sorta Strategy and another episode of Archetypes Explained. This time I'm going to be doing Sky Strikers, another meta deck. I'll have covered all the top 4 decks then. And then I want to do Endymion probably next. But if you want to comment a deck for me to do next, comment away, no bother. I'm going to try and do as many competitive or well-represented decks as possible before Nationals this weekend. So, yeah. Sky Strikers, I will not be doing a part 2 for combos because once I explain like 1 or 2 like simple combos max probably, and then like how the interactions with a couple cards work, this deck kind of plays itself. It's not plays itself, but it's one of those decks that's like easy to play, hard to master, that type of thing. And yeah, that is that. So I think I'll just start straight away. So first card, Sky Striker Ace Ray. You contribute this card, quick effect, special summon a Sky Striker Ace from the extra deck. That's all the link monsters, by the way. While this card is in your graveyard, if a face-up Sky Striker linked monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you can special summon this card. You can only use the effect of this once per turn. So the first effect is important because if she can attack directly or to a monster, she can attack and then quick effect into a new monster, and then that can attack as well. So that's just a little extra damage pretty much. And then if the link monster is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of opponent's card effect, she summons from the graveyard. So basically they slow you down with their spells, they kind of control you, and then yeah, that's pretty much that, more or less. They slow down the game, and then when you finally remove the link monster, she comes out and ready to go into a new monster the next turn. Something else I wanted to mention actually before I started was that all Sky Striker decks pretty much now should be or are playing Mystic Mine. When Mystic Mine gets banned, or I think it will get banned anyway, should be banned, I'd say. The decks kind of changed a little bit in that time since this has come out, so I'll show you, or I'll tell you what you should replace when this is gone, because basically you're going to be adding pretty much just hand traps and like some cards that were bumped down to 2 to fit this engine, or we'll go back up to 3. That's pretty much it. So yeah, moving on. Anyway, next card. So Mobilize Engage, probably the most important starter card, something they want to see in their hand. I'll read it to you now. If you control no monsters in your main monster zones, add a Sky Striker card from your deck to your hand. Then if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, draw a card as well. So that is really strong. All the Sky Striker cards pretty much have 2 effects. One for just activating, and then a second one that they gain if there are 3 spells in the grave. Except for these 2. These 2 are different. But Widow Anchor, Shark Cannon, all these, they all have a second effect pretty much. So you want to get spells to the grave as fast as possible. That's why even when some of the Sky Striker decks are running 41, 42 cards, they'll run an Upstart Goblin anyway. And yeah, that's kind of that. So moving on. So second card then is Hornet Drones. So this card is kind of, it counts as a ray. Basically, it makes a token. It's quick effect, so you can use it to do a little bit of extra damage, I suppose. If you control no Sky Striker monsters in your main monster zone, special summon a token. And if you have 3 or more in the graveyard, it gains 1500 attack and defense. So the second effect doesn't really matter. You're linking it away, but sometimes it can do damage pretty much, like I said before. So the main play pretty much is Kagari has gone to 1 on the recent ban list, right? So what you will do is hopefully you'll only really ever make Kagari when you have when you start with an engage, so you really want to see this anyway, other than the fact that this effect is amazing. I'll read Kagari to you now because I'm about to explain to you like a simple combo kind of thing. So if this card is special summoned, you can target a Sky Striker spell in your graveyard, add to your hand. This card gains 100 attack for each spell in the graveyard. You can only use the effect of this once per turn. So pretty much you will if you start with this, activate it, search out the drones, make Kagari with the drones, add engage to hand, activate engage again. It's not once per turn. That's a simple combo. The other cards in your hand then hopefully will put 3 spells in the grave, and then you can basically get 2 draws off that as well. So that is amazing. Anyway, next card. So these 2 cards are a bit different to the rest. They don't have a main effect and then a secondary effect if you have 3 more spells in the grave, but that's okay. These are really good. So first card, Airspace Area 0. You can target 1 card you control, excavate 3 cards at the top of your deck, and if you do, add an excavated Sky Striker card from your deck to your hand, also shuffle the rest into the deck. Then, if you excavate a Sky Striker card, send the targeted card to the graveyard. So basically, excavate 3, pick a Sky Striker card, add it to the hand, and then you have to send a card that you targeted to the graveyard. The reason it says if you excavate a Sky Striker card, I guess, is because if you say excavate Rota, Upstart, and Spell Mining, Mystic Mine, then you wouldn't send the target to the graveyard, pretty much, okay? At this point, I want to say something really important that I forgot. It's an interaction between Ray and Area 0. It is really important, and it's really... if it comes up, it's great. Basically, I'll read Ray really quick, the part that matters anyway. You contribute this card, quick effect, special summon a Sky Striker Ace from the extra deck, okay? Then, this, because Area 0 says, basically, target as the cost, okay? Then you excavate, and then you send the target to the graveyard. You can target Ray, quick effect of Ray to summon the extra deck monster, excavate 3 and add 1, and then the part to send the card to the graveyard does not go off because the target's no longer there, which is but it's fine because you add to hand first, then you send the thing to the graveyard. So you can, just so you know, if this comes up, you can Area 0, target your Ray, quick effect of Ray to get her out of the way. At this point, you'd probably summon your Kagari if you have a target engraved for it. Summon your Hayase if you're going first and can't do battle phase. Or summon Kaina if you're not in time, pretty much. Or if you have the second Kaina, which some people run, I guess. Make the Kaina, because you don't want to waste your Kagari if there's no target engraved. And that is that. Back to the video. Yeah, this basically helps you find your engages, helps you find your multi-rolls or whatever else. Ray, even. They're probably the most important ones you want to hit or see. Maybe an anchor or something like that. And then, if this card is sent from the field zone to the graveyard by card effect, you can special summon it and Sky Striker Ace from the deck. You can only use this effect, each effect once per turn. So basically, if it's sent to the graveyard, you'll summon Ray from the deck. So it is really good. It's the next card then will send it to the grave. So hopefully, what you want to do with this pretty much is activate it. Like, set a random card from your hand, maybe Terraforming, because you already have the field spell, do you know what I mean? So you could basically activate this, set Terraforming, send the Terraforming, well, excavate 3 first, hopefully find this, add this to your hand, send the Terraforming to the graveyard. Then you activate this, and I'll tell you what this does now. So, multi-roll. This card is very, very strong, very oppressive. It's why this deck is so, like, it's able to keep up and keep playing through the meta, always, even with Kagari at 1 and drones at 1. But this card is just ridiculous. Okay, so once per turn, you can target a card you control, send it to the graveyard. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to your spell card's activations for the rest of the turn, even if this card leaves the field. Like, that is ridiculous. Okay, so as I said, you'll activate this, send, say for example, that Terraforming to the graveyard, hopefully get this, activate this, send the field spell to the graveyard. Now your spells can't be chained to, and then when this goes to the graveyard, you will get your Ray from the deck onto the field. That is really, really good, pretty much. Now, next thing. Once per turn, during the end phase, you can set Sky Striker spells with different names from your graveyard up to the number of Sky Striker spell cards you activated this turn while this card was face up on the field. Banish them when they leave the field. So, like this, every end phase, if you don't get rid of this card, they are setting a Widow Anchor again, a Shark Cannon again, a Afterburner again. You know what I mean? It's so annoying. So you really have to get rid of this card. It's really important. Yeah, it's just, oh my god, it's ridiculous. Like, if they activate Engage like a couple of times, you know what I mean? They kind of set the Engage again, and then it's ready for next turn. It's just, it's just so strong, okay? Just so you know, just try your best to just get rid of this, okay? Now, all the rest of the cards are pretty much cards that have a first effect and then gain a second effect, except for this, but I'll get to that when we get there, pretty much. So, Widow Anchor, this one is really strong. If you control no monsters in your main monster zones, target a face-up effect monster on the field, negate the effect of the monster until the end of the turn. If you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard, you take control of that monster until the end phase. Really, really good. Helps them finish out games, helps them break boards really well. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, honestly. This card, by the way, helps them break boards really well too. It's really helping them with their going second. Anyway, so yeah, this helps them finish out games. It's a quick effect, basically a chalice, but also a like snatch steal. So yeah, really strong. This is a card that you pretty much set from the grave using multi-roll every turn if possible. Shark Cannon, if you control no monsters in your main monster zone, target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard, banish that monster. So really good, this meta. I'll go over ratios at the end just because I've forgotten to do it so far. So yeah, Target one monster in your opponent's grave, banish it. Or if you have 3 or more spells and traps in the graveyard, special summon it to your side of the field, but it cannot attack. So a lot of the cards here say if you have nothing in your main monster zone, so sometimes the summoning to your side of the field isn't amazing if you have more Sky Striker cards you want to activate. So just keep that in mind, okay? Yeah, another amazing card. Next thing, then, Afterburners, right? If you control no monsters in your main monster zones, target a monster on the field, destroy it. If you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard, you can target a spell and trap on the field, also. No, not also. I'm wrong. Yeah, target a face-up monster on the field, destroy it. Then if you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard, you can destroy a spell or trap on the field. Yeah, it is as well, yeah. Right? Yeah. It doesn't say instead. So, yeah, it is both. In my head it was both, and then when I read it, I kind of confused myself. And then the next card is basically the same, except the opposite way. If you control no monsters in your main monster zones, target a spell or trap on the field, destroy it. Then if you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard, you can destroy 1 monster on the field. So, these are weird because this was an auto one-of, and this wasn't being played, but now since Mystic Mine has come out, this is being mained at 2. A lot of the time I'm seeing 2. So this is still being played at 1 and then this at 2. As I said, I'll go over ratios at the end and I'll go back over everything. So yeah. Then, next thing, Ego Boosters. If you control no monsters in your main monster zones, target 1 face-up monster on the field. That target's unaffected by effects this turn. So this can basically guarantee that your Kagari effect goes off, for example. Except its own, and if you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard, it cannot be destroyed by battle this turn also. That part you never really use. The next card then, Vector Blast. This card is pretty much never played, but I read it to you anyway, as I usually do. If you control no monsters in your main monster zone, each player sends the top 2 cards of their deck to the graveyard, or as many as possible if less than 2. Then, if you sent at least 1 card to the graveyard and you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard, you can shuffle all your opponent's monsters from the extra monster zones into the deck. So it's like you mill. I guess the idea behind this was to put spells in your grave, but like it's kind of not needed pretty much. If you're playing Sky Strikers right, you'll easily get enough spells in the graveyard. So yeah, gonna take that out. It's never played, okay? Next card, Hercules Base. This was being played when Kagari was put to 1, but now that Mystic Mine is out, it's being cut for that. I'll read it to you anyway. So it can, like, if you really want to play this, you could. Activate only if you control no monsters in your main monster zones. The equipped monster cannot attack directly. Very important, because Hayate attacks directly. That's her thing. That's how you do damage, even when your opponent has 4 monsters on the field and you're playing your 1 extra deck monster, pretty much, because you can't use the main monster zones, more or less. Next thing was... yeah, I've seen someone bring out Hayate and then equipped it with this just for no reason. Just playing cards, pretty much. So, yeah, just so you know, okay? It can make a second attack on monsters during each battle phase. If the equipped monster destroys a monster by attack while you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard, draw 1 card. So that all sounds okay, but it's not the reason you play this card. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target up to 3 Sky Striker cards in the graveyard, shuffle them into the deck. The idea basically was to use your Kagari and then send this to the graveyard and then add your Kagari back to the extra deck so it can be used next turn. It's not a bad card, honestly, but it's not really being played now that the Mystic Mine thing is out. When Mystic Mine is banned, you'll probably cut the 3 Mystic Mine, or 2 if you're playing 2. I would probably recommend 2. Cut set rotation, and then you're basically going to include another one of these if you want. Foolish Burial Good. So this is a little engine. Basically, this says send a spell from or trap from your deck to the graveyard. You can only activate it once per turn. The one you always send is Metal Foes Fusion. Funny enough, if you've never seen this before. You ignore this. This is Fusion Summon a Metal Foes. If this card is in your graveyard, you can shuffle it into the deck, then draw 1 card. You can only use the effect of this once per turn. So the idea is it's just a draw engine. It puts a spell in your grave, lets you draw. It's really, really good, really simple. Usually people would play 2 goods and 1 Metal Foe Fusion. You can just kind of set it. If you draw it, you can set it and then send it using either of these. So it's not the end of the world. And then shuffle it back into the deck and draw cards. So it's pretty good. Rota. It's a spell. The reason I put it here, even though it's not really an engine card or an actual archetype card, is just because it puts a spell in the grave and it searches out your array. Simple enough. Upstart, I already explained. Mystic Mine, this helps her go in second. They run 2 Rotas. And yeah, it's just, they're basically just sitting behind this card. It's, you know, It's annoying, but whatever. Helps them a lot. Then, set rotation, it's a quick spell, so you can do it on your opponent's turn or just on your turn if you really wanted to, if you're going second. Set 2 field spells. Oh no, not on your opponent's turn. It sets them. I forgot about that. Set 2 field spells with different names from the deck onto the field. While either of those cards remain face up on the field, neither player can activate or set field spells. So basically, the idea with this is you activate your Mystic Mine and give them the other's field spell pretty much. And that is that, more or less. I'll go on to the extra deck monsters then. Kagari, I talked about, adds 1 from grave to hand. Really strong, limited to 1. Some people were playing Magnet Reverse. I wouldn't recommend that. It's not really that good. Magnet Reverse pretty much says add a machine or rock from grave to hand. It has other parts of the effect, maybe a discard to do so. It's not worth playing just for Kagari, in my opinion. Next card, Hayate. So the idea kind of with the Sky Striker extra deck monsters is you make this main phase 1 to add something back. You make this for battle phase, attack directly. You make this main phase 2 because it gets an effect in the end phase. And then pretty much you make this in time to gain life points. But I'll go over the effects properly now. So, you can special summon this once per turn. This card can attack directly. After damage calculation, if this card battles, send a Sky Striker card from your deck to the graveyard. This is really, really good. Sending something to the graveyard basically is a search if you have multi-roll on the field, because it'll add 1 from grave to set it onto the field at the end phase. I'm gonna sneeze. It's been a while since I had a sneeze in a video, to be honest, but today my nose has been really annoying. But yeah, Hayate attacks directly, sends 1 from deck to graveyard, and then multi-roll will set it in the end phase. So yeah, really, really strong. And then Shizuku is what you make main phase 2. So after your battle phase, your opponent's monsters lose 100 attack and defense for each spell in the graveyard. It does add up, but, you know, I wouldn't take a 3TA down enough that it would, you know, that she could kill it. But anyway, once per turn during the end phase, if this card was special summoned this turn, you can add a Sky Striker spell from deck to hand with a different name from the cards in your graveyard. You can only special summon this once per turn. So she basically end phase searches. It's pretty good for next turn. It's a plus off this, pretty much a plus off this, because multi-roll, and then multi-roll itself just lets you plus so much. So this deck's pretty ridiculous. Then, Kaina. If this card is special summoned, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. It cannot attack till the end of the opponent's turn. Like, that can come up in time, first of all. It really does come up in time. And then, each time you activate a Sky Striker spell card, or its effect, you gain 100 life points after, and you can only summon this once per turn. It's like, this is basically how Sky Strikers win in time, pretty much. And that is everything. Going to show you then a couple builds, I suppose. So, top 8 of French nationals played 2 hand traps and then the impermanence. It was kind of weird, this ratio. I don't know if I like this build all that much because I don't know about desires personally. But yeah, I'll go through it anyway. Oh, fuck, actually, I forgot something. I forgot to talk about ratios. Well, you'll see them here anyway. Most people would play always 3 Ray, 3 Engage. This has been put down to 2. It's normally at 3, but since Mystic Mine has come out, it's been cut to 2. 3 multi-roll, 3 anchored. This is 2 or 3. It's kind of personal preference. This is being played at 2 because of Mystic Mine. This is still at 1. This is at 1. This man is playing Hercules base. I don't dislike it. I don't hate it or anything like that, but it's, I don't know. I can see why people wouldn't play this. Hornet Drone's always played. This isn't always played. I don't know if I like it or not personally, but yeah. Foolish Burial Goods and Metalful Fusion always play this. A lot of people playing MST because I guess of Mystic Mine, popping your own even sometimes. Reinforcement of the army and Upstart Goblin pretty much auto includes. Terraformings auto include even before Mystic Mine, and then set rotation now with Mystic Mine. Extra deck, Kagari, Shizuku, Hayate, and Kaina. Some people playing 2 Kaina. I don't really see the point. I would just play 1. He's playing Super Poly targets. That's great. I love Super Poly, especially in this deck. It has the space in the extra deck. Phoenix, Hisa, Ningirsu, Bomber, and Sword. Borrowed Sword. The side then, 3 Lancias. I think it's auto include. Ghost Ogre. I guess I see why, but I'm not the biggest fan of it right now. It's good, like, but I don't know. Triple Twin Twister, the 2 Instant Fusion, which I love in this deck. 3 evenly matched, and then 2 There Can Only Be One. There Can Only Be One is really, really good in this. I think side 3. I would side a 3rd one in this instead of the Ghost Ogre. But yeah, it's all personal preference. Win. This is your chance anyway to net deck this, okay? And now I will show you what I would... If you had to cut this, let's say when thing gets banned, whatever you call it, Mystic Mine. I would probably cut this either to none or to 1. And then you can basically include a third one of this. Include third Air 0. And then like more hand traps pretty much. People were playing like 3 Ash, 3 Impermanence. So that's your 4 cards already made up pretty much. Like, yeah, it doesn't change all that much when Mystic Mine goes. But yeah, that's all you need to know. Then, second place in French Nats. I love the Gamma engine in this. It's so good. Like, Gamma and Driver. This guy came second, so take his word for it. I think it's amazing. But yeah, he plays 2 Shark Cannon. The other guy played 3. Also playing 2 Area 0. Anything else that was different? He's maining 3 Twin Twisters. He's maining 2 Spell Mining Cave, Mystic Mine, whatever you want to call it. I think this is the right ratio myself. Terraforming, set rotation, and then he's maining 3 evenly matched. I'm not sure about this myself personally, but this guy came second, so, you know, take his word. He's playing the Omega because of this engine, which is really cool. And then 2 Kaina, which I don't agree with. And then, yeah, he's not playing some of the other stuff the other guy was playing pretty much. But, yeah, personally, his side, I like it a lot more. The 3, there can only be 1. And then these with the third Mystic Mine is, like, ridiculously good. MSTs, and he's playing Ogre also, so I guess it probably, maybe they're seeing something I'm not. So here's your chance anyway to net deck this, and then I will show you a build I guess that I prefer personally. Again, these guys got top 8 and second at French Nats, so, you know, take their word before you take mine maybe. Okay, so, I think Gamma Engine, really like that. I love that, honestly. 3 Ash, just because I personally don't like the evenly matched in the main. 3 Engage, 3 Multi-Roll, 3 Anchor, 2 Air 0, 2 Shark Cannon, 2 Jamming Waves, 1 Afterburner, 1 Hornet Drones, this engine, which I love, 3 Twin Twisters in the main, 2 of this, 2 of this, 1 of this, 1 of this, and 1 of this. I keep 240. I think basically the guy who came second at French Nats, his build was like pretty much near perfect in my, like, perfect, like, I don't want to make it sound like I didn't top French Nats, keep that in mind, okay? I would side the 3 sphere modes because you can pretty much go in second, like, against some decks you kind of need it, but not really because you have this also, so keep that in mind. If you want to cut these, definitely, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. You can play other things. More hand traps probably would be best. Lancias, I love these. By the way, there should be another target for this. I'd probably cut one of these. I guess the Borrowed Sword. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I probably would cut one of these 2 for Violet Chimera. That was supposed to be in here. I mustn't have saved it. And then I love the Mystic Mine and Metaverse. And then there can only be 1. So basically, personally, I much prefer the second place of French Nats. And yeah, that is kind of everything. If you want to beat this deck, Called by the Grave is amazing against Ray. Evenly Matched is amazing against this deck. What else? Denkoseka is amazing against this deck. Anti-Spell, Imperial Order, things like that. And yeah, I guess that is kind of that. That is some quick tips, I suppose, at the end of the video. Anyway, comment if you want to see a deck, whatever deck you want to see next. Like if you liked, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.